Okay. Live. Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's your gal Alicia, and even though I started off as a live stream, I just wanted this to be published to YouTube relatively quickly for when it does go live. After we talk about our main topic today. So I have my dear friend Dan from high school, 08 KCP Jaguars right over here. Say hi, Dan.
How's it going?
So I kidnapped him today to help me out with something earlier. Oh gosh, they're like really loud. And I have been thinking about this topic for a while since he did help me with something and I didn't give him a lot of credit for his work and everything, partially because I didn't also promote the song or the video a lot in the first place when I created it and published it on YouTube back around 2013, 2014 or so. And that video was called Girl Get to Work. And the song that I made for that video, a rap song, Gal or Die. And in the past, try to like make songs and write lyrics and do parodies and stuff. When I got to KCP on the south side of Chicago, or Dr. King College Preparatory High School, I eventually met Dan and a bunch of other male colleagues and associates who were rapping at that time. And I thought it was so cool. They would just like spit all these like lyrics and stuff or like do freestyles and everything. And being on the south side and coming from a school back there where people had like freestyle Fridays at lunchtime, and to come like into high school and like kind of have that there and kind of see like the lyrics people or hear the lyrics people are making and the beats that they're making and everything. I thought that was so cool, especially not being a music major and working more so with like paints and pencils, or at least pencils first, Pigma pens, thanks to my brother, Imrock of Sitcom Entertainment, who also used to rap, and his friends would do like freestyles around music as well. So most likely, like, I guess it was natural that I would get into like wanting to try to do lyric or like be a lyricist or whatever, try to like see if I can have a little flow or something. But I'm not good with like freestyling or like battle rapping because my tongue gets tied and everything. Um, but like I said, this is Dan. He was one of the people like making beats and songs and stuff with a couple of other people, like Deshaun Russell, and oh gosh, there was like quite a bit of us, and they had like their own group that they were making music with, like way back in like, oh gosh, like what, 2008 was when we graduated.
2006 is probably where I would say that the earliest that I can remember, 2005, 2006, around that time.
Okay, because it definitely like on Facebook, you all were like sharing music and like tagging me in it and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And it's like, I want to be a part of this too. But like, oh, what do I say? But at that time, I did make a rap and I put it in Deshaun Russell's Dual Styles back in the day as well. A punk, or was it a metal band? I'm so sorry, Deshaun. I'm so sorry. A Dual Styles, a band that he was a part of after like doing rap and everything. And I wrote in his notebook that he like left behind. I was like, okay, well, I don't want it to be like thrown away. So like wrote this rap under an alias. Switchblade. This was before Nikki Zafaya's song Switchblade, which like jogged my memory. I was like, oh yeah, that was a nickname I had before. And like it was like, I guess, super cool and like really like, oh my God, that like it shocked him a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to like rap too. Yo, or whatever. But I don't do it that often. Sometimes a beat might come into play, and I've did some covers and stuff here and there, but for this video especially, for Gal or Die from back when I was up in Addison, and when like around the Anime Expo time and stuff. He was helping me like kind of like learn music and such, because he took music classes and that was his thing. He was in band at KCP. And I just kind of wanted to like understand music a little bit more because I enjoy music a lot, but I'm not musically inclined. Even though I would like to at least like play like a little tune or whatever. Um, but he helped me, or just like helping me with programs like, was it Cakewalk or something?
Cakewalk is one of the programs I've
Okay.
used. Most of the time I was using Cakewalk was in the later years when I was part of Center Stage Authority, when I was working with the band Briquet at that time.
Mm.
And so, but throughout all of those times, I had been using FL Studio.
Oh, Fruity Loops.
Back,
nice.
From as far back as when I was still in high school.
Okay. Well, I didn't know you used Fruity Loops too. My brother built me a computer and had like a lot of programs like definitely before high school. Before like I moved to the apartment that I was at during high school, and Fruity Loops was one of the programs that I got to play with, besides Minesweeper and like Pinball or whatever, and the Microsoft Paint. And I would just try to like make beats, and it's like, wow, this sounds terrible. It's like, I know like with practice, like things will get better, and you'll have an ear for beats, but just like it's like, all right, I did something, but like, oh.
And honestly, you have no idea how right you are with that. With practice, things get better, because I've gone back and listened to some of the stuff that I was making back then and listen to it now, and it's like there's so much that I could do to make this actually sound legitimate instead of like garbage.
Okay. So you can come closer to be like more in the camera too.
Okay.
Because I know it's like
probably pick me up better too.
Yeah. So you got this sound guy here, the music man. So let's see. I created lyrics way back when I was up at Addison, before I left there to live back on the South Side to help assist with caretaking of my elderly great grandmother. She lived to be 102. Yay! I'm sure she's seen some things in her lifetime. But before I moved back, I was definitely taking note of a lot of the change in the gyaru community. Like before, when I got there, a lot of branded items at that time, like Alba Rosa, Coco Lulu or Cohen Lu. This was definitely before Daya, before Mars, stuff like that. I was picking up that a lot of people were like using Charlotte Russe or Forever 21 or just Rainbow, anything, which was like the inexpensive or cheap shop before Shein, or even before like Rainbow and stuff from the South Side. Going there, Walmart, where have you, to find and customize or like use what you had for your clothes, especially if you were taller, or maybe a little bit, you have a little bit more muscle or fat on your body, or being plus size or what have you. Where a lot of these clothes would not fit you over in Japan, wearing it as an American person with a different body structure, whether or not you're overeating or undereating or what have you, just the bone structure itself and like height difference. So seeing that people are like customizing or just using what they have, to the influx of people being able to use shopping services more, not just of, oh, let's say Miss Becky Chan is going to Japan, so she's taking an order for whatever Lolita or Gadu items that people want. And maybe you can pay her a tip or what have you, but at least you're paying for the shipping and buying the items and any tax or whatever, or duties and stuff, customs, to, oh, there is a site where the brands will ship this through the site to you. So it's a lot easier and you're not struggling with kanji and really like haphazard translation tools. So with this influx of brands and people acquiring more money and like getting more brands. So however they're doing it, I took that to embody that in the lyrics way before I started getting into or even like learning about more luxury brands or customizing indie boutique stuff, like Steve Madden, and was probably like the height of like some of the things I got at the time, or like my baby glasses. I think I bought them before I moved back to the South Side, let alone Daya or like acquiring a lot of Alba Rosa items and such. So I will play the song in the video as well. Soundproofing would be amazing. I am working with what I have. This is why I don't blog or like do video stuff that often, because of like sound stuff, or like, oh, can I blog? Would it be too late? Would I be too loud? So your girl had a hard time doing the best she can. But with this song, Gal or Die, I guess I can sing it, or at least, oh God. Some like final stuff. So it's part of the Girl Get to Work series from 7 or so years ago. Hopefully you all can like hear it. I also didn't feel like over editing this either, so. So he helped me like put the final stuff together. I had somebody else send me the beats that I liked, and then I make the lyrics myself without any help. I would like a feature, by the way. There. You know it got it on something sexy, something brando. Having meets with the girls, we chillin' and we hanging. Cuter than Bob Jordan, it does, you know I make you banging. Had to turn and chillin' with the otaku. Then take my session. Group de otoru with Yuffie and Riku, headed straight to the dealer's room. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a few. What you think I'm trying to do? When I'm putting Brando, I ain't dressing for none of you. I'm going to Huntity Hotter. Got my eyelashes, my makeup, circle lens, and high heels. Kawakute, Ashadikute, sexy gotta go. So that is my song, or one of the songs that I've made and published within a skit. He helped me out. I wanted to do like a lot of the work myself, but like learn the process to help guide me than just fully relying on someone. But I know this guy learned a lot about music. I just appreciate it. But yeah, did you want to like say any process of like working with such a difficult person? or what you think about the song, or I don't know, or just
I can't actually say
rapping
that
and stuff in general.
are not the most difficult artist who I've worked with. I have actually worked with artists where we've had disagreements, and sometimes the project will get temporarily shut down and come back several days later. But all in all, I can't say I've gotten to a situation where I've wanted to come to physical blows with somebody over a project. So I think that has been a blessing so far.
That's
mostly verbal disagreements. Okay. Sometimes disagreements about whether or not what's being played was exactly what the other artist was thinking of having a note be or whatnot.
Like
because I don't have the I don't have the best ear. I don't have perfect pitch. I have a semi decent relative pitch, if anything.
Okay.
So no, I can't say that you're the most difficult artist I've worked with. But
thank you.
But actually, even with everything I've said about the other artists I've worked with, I think honestly I'm probably the most difficult artist I've worked with because of my own perfectionism.
Yeah, perfectionism is.
I'll turn back and say, wait a second, that was bad. Let me work over it again. And that process can take years at times.
Oh, definitely. Oh gosh.
Because it's never going to come out perfect. You want it to come out good enough, but it's never going to come out to the point where it's just like perfect.
True. Like the project still has to be done at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the same with painting as well. Like I had a painting teacher, tell me like sometimes a painting that you're working on just has to be done. Like even if it's kind of unfinished, like how long are you going to keep working at something when you could be continuously making other things? And that's valid with music, with a lot of other projects as well. Like, of course, you want to make sure things are completed. However, some projects do have an end date, and that's it. Yeah. At least like with the song, like listening to it over again, Gal or Die, some parts kind of like are a little bit too sped up. Like I would like to record it officially so that like it has a better flow in some spots than like, whoa, it's like really too like, I think it's also because of the way I edit it as well, I think. But I don't know, it was a fun project. And I definitely look forward to working with this guy again. Because we just like with working and stuff and like real life issues when like he used to rap and put stuff out on Facebook like 10 years ago. And I used to be a lot more into like putting out blogs. And if I'm not writing a blog or an article on my blog, it's for a different site's blog, or I'm helping a group over here, or I'm making an event or something. Like there's always something happening, or I'm editing or making a YouTube video. But sometimes a lot of things need way more time, and like not being here or like being able to produce stuff or even like collab on a way more stuff, because I still have a couple of songs that, like they're just sitting in a binder right now. They're just like sitting in my head, and they could just, maybe somebody can enjoy it, or at least like I can free up some space, I guess, and share, just like a random project with you all. But definitely look forward to seeing Dan again on here and hopefully saying more, because I feel like I just stole the whole thing. But yeah, talk about your instruments.
Okay.
I'm not the music person. I'm the host. I'm supposed to be quiet.
Well, I did start a bit of classical piano training when I was in about third grade, when I was 8 or 9 years old. Unfortunately, I was a very impatient child, and I ended up being pulled from my lessons because my parents saw that I wasn't taking it very seriously. But that desire started to come back upon me towards the end of my grammar school career, and going into high school. Initially, I wanted to be a part of the Drumline because the movie Drumline had come out recently. Everybody wanted to be a part of the Drumline.
I've only seen the trailer. Like, I might have watched Drumline, or maybe like a snippet of it. But I was like, oh, like for me, it was like, why watch Drumline when I can just like hear my school band practice or chill with the band kids? So it's like movie or like a real life. Like band kid movie type of thing. So yeah.
Regretfully, I did end up changing out of band and taking a strand more so towards computer information technology.
Oh, I didn't know
and so
that.
For a while, I wasn't building my music education up again. I went to an after-school program in my sophomore year, I believe. It was either the summer after my sophomore year or the summer after my freshman year going into my sophomore year. I started going up to the Urban League, the Chicago Urban League, and they had a teen reach program going on there at the time.
Oh, neat.
And in there, I learned a little bit more about music production. That's when I got my hands on on another young man's copy of FL4. And
Ooh, okay.
after that, no, this was definitely in my sophomore year going into junior year. So that was then. In my sophomore year, me and a couple of my guy friends, we would hang out in the choir rooms a lot. And this was when we would be just at the piano making music, coming up with beats on the piano. And my friends would be freestyling to a lot of the music that we'd be playing out at the piano. Me, myself, a weak, almost non-existent freestyler personally, but they would freestyle. Sometimes I would write up something to go along with it. And when I had my hands on my own copy of FL, that's when I started actually coming out with some of the beats that would come out on the piano in the computer program. My junior year was also when I did finally jump back into music officially. The orchestra at that time, I was under Mr. Mark's direction. I started learning to play the cello, and as well as the cello, I picked up on the double bass. And because of the double bass, I started playing electric bass as well. And moving on from there into my senior year, because I was pulled into Mr. Washington pulled me into the jazz band a little bit because of the fact that I was playing bass. But because of the fact that I was being integrated towards the jazz band, I figured why not the marching band too? And so in my senior year, I also packed up on the alto and tenor saxophones as well. And so I eventually picked up on a nickname of multiplayer or multi-tap because among the saxophones, we did have nicknames for each other. Okay. And my nicknames were multiplayer and multi-tap because of the fact that it was assumed that I could play anything I could pick up. And I did kind of make it look like I could live up to that reputation.
Oh, that's cool.
But in actuality, it's not always a good thing to be a jack of all trades, because when you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And that definitely rings true for me. I have mastered absolutely none of the instruments I know how to play.
Not being in music, it's just like a hobby for me. But with like sewing or knitting or crocheting and stuff like that, like I pick up a lot of stuff too. And I do my best to get it as far as I possibly can. However, if I'm sewing, I'm not working on my knitting. If I'm not working on my knitting, like that's diminishing, or I'm not like pushing it as far as it can go. Like, am I doing a pattern, like a more complex pattern? Or if I'm sewing or if I'm knitting, I'm not painting, I'm not drawing, let alone making YouTube videos or what have you. Like even that, like editing and stuff and all of that, or even like just get into 3D modeling with art. My brother, like filmmaking and stuff, that was his thing. Photography, filmmaking, my dad and my brother's thing. Me, I'm just picking it up because it's like, wow, this is like what people do like for fun. This is amazing. But you become well-rounded, learning a lot of stuff. But then, like how far could my painting go if I wasn't dabbling in music or dabbling with sewing, if I wasn't dabbling with doing YouTube videos and stuff or making events for Gal? But with your multi-tap and multiplayer.
Well, moving on into college, I went to Columbia. I guess I initially wanted to move towards production a little bit more than composition, even though composition is what I ultimately pursued. And if I'm being honest, I don't have any regrets for that. Like composition, I learned a lot more theory than I probably would have gone through in production. But on the theory side, on the composition side, I believe it did make me a better musician, which ultimately did make me a better producer as well. Even if I don't know as much of the finalization and a lot more of the technical aspect, I've realized that I have a very unique way of how I put together my music as far as what I have heard in a lot of other hip hop music. Like I am using a significant amount more theory from what I do here in other rap and hip hop music. But then again, on the other hand, I guess I can't really say that the beats I make are strictly rap or hip hop. Like it probably is a multi-genre fusion that I've been doing a lot since I've been learning a lot more theory.
I look forward to like hearing some new stuff. Yeah.
And then even since then, I guess even with working with the band Briquet, I did, I guess, add a little bit more of a pop rock sort of feel to some of the music that I've been putting out, because those do seem like the primary genres that she works with.
I'm gonna have to look into that. This is the first time I'm hearing this. So like we've been catching up recently, this I would say maybe like past half year-ish, kind of. After my little sister's funeral, of where we saw like quite a couple of like core friend group people that attended her funeral. You know, rest in peace, baby sis. And you know, it sucks to reconvene when somebody dies, then just like, hey, let's just kick it, you know. It's the summertime, let's go out and enjoy life or whatever. But definitely doing our best, like as we get older, to like push ourselves as much as possible and not let stuff get us down, even when things get us down. So yeah. Man, like we've known each other at least like maybe sophomore year-ish.
Probably at the
sophomore, maybe late sophomore year.
Yeah.
Before
and I would
definitely
probably
before
say that's at the
2008.
latest. I don't know if we knew each other or knew of each other the freshman year, but
Yeah,
definitely sophomore year on.
because like I know like I met Bryce, but I think that was like sophomore year that we met in like a class or something. But yeah, look forward to I'll put the links in the description. And I will do my best to bring Dan back on again to talk about music, talk about our projects, or if and when we do complete another project, that he'll be on to talk about the project as well, as he'll have a lot more to say than helping me like piece the components together, than definitely starting from scratch with something. So look forward to that. And I will definitely put Dan's socials, better have a site or something, down in the description below and everywhere else. If you want to check out his work, check out his work. And just look forward to more content. Thank you all for being subscribed and watching, commenting and all that. And see you all a little bit later. Let's see. And all right. Oh, it's still going. Hopefully.